Hey guys, welcome back to Mama's Tea Time Season 2.
Yes.
And we're here to read some Reddit stories and spill some tea. I'm Jessica.
I'm Katie.
And we are, almost done with November already? The year's flying by.
We're doing it and doing it and doing it well.
If you know Katie at all, that is her saying, you guys.
Good thing.
You're going to hear it all the time in this podcast, on her TikTok lives. That is her thing.
It's a thing.
Real quick, before we hop into stories, we're recording this. By the time this comes out, what I'm about to talk about is already going to happen. But we are having a Friendsgiving this weekend. And I'm so excited. Katie's coming into town.
It's like basically like Santa Claus is coming to town.
Pretty much.
Katie is coming to town.
Honestly,
what
better.
a blessing.
We're so excited because if you watched our little get to know us video that we posted, I think at this point is going to be last week, you'll know that we met through TikTok. And now we're doing a podcast. We met for the first time in person last month. And now we're making it a regular thing. So we're pretty excited about it. And you'll have to maybe we'll post something on our Instagram. We'll have to post some stuff on our Instagram. So if we don't, y'all can yell at us in the comments if we didn't post anything on the Friendsgiving.
It ain't there, girl. It ain't there.
Because it's not there by now. Anyway.
Accountability.
Yes, keep us in check. We need to be making that content, baby. All right. Well, let's get into some juicy stories. Unless you got some.
Yeah. We got all the stories. But I wanted to say, before we get into the tea, I wanted to say that, again, like we talked about in our last week's, if you have a friend that you're thinking about chatting with, or you're kind of like, I really like her, she's online, it can be your real life bestie. I'm just letting you guys know.
We're the real life example right here.
Yeah. So don't be scared of internet friends. They can be true besties too.
I mean, be cautious. Don't go and just talk to anyone. Do your due diligence and Katie and I probably talked online through TikTok and stuff for months before we even got each other's phone numbers. So
that's true.
So actually, be cautious.
Yeah, let me not stray you the wrong way, actually. Well, I don't want to be blamed.
We'll read a Reddit story about that and we'll be like, oh my gosh, they met this crazy person because of our podcast.
I know, I'd feel guilty. But yeah, always be cautious on the internet. But if you're feeling alone, like we chatted about last pod, there are people that are online that are good mamas, good wherever your community is. They're good people, and that could be your best friends.
Yes, 100%.
Like we are.
Yeah.
So I have some tea, guys.
Let's go.
Are we ready for it? Are we ready?
I am. Let's do it. Let's get into it.
So the title of this story is, Am I the asshole for proving my friend wrong that looks do matter? This is a tough one. This is going to be a hard pill to swallow for some girlies. Okay, so I, 34 male, have a great group of friends who we've all really supportive and uplifting, especially with me recently as I try to lose all the weight I put on since COVID. Oof, who can relate? I've been working on it with diet, exercise, and medication, but it takes time, and they've been all amazing. Out of the group, I'm the only one still single, and it's not by choice. With mental, financial, and physical health issues have been keeping me single. One of my friends, Kay, 28 female, is very well-meaning, but has decided to become my personal cheerleader when it comes to dating life. She keeps insisting I try dating apps, saying it will just take some time, I need to be patient, and that my personality will shine through. I've told her I've tried them, but haven't had much luck, and that it's my looks that are holding me back, which I'm actively working on. Kay insists I'm being too negative about myself. The rest of the group just rolled their eyes. So to prove my point, and this is where I might be the asshole, I recreated my dating profile, same name, background, prompts, but using my friends, who is good looking and happily married dude, pictures with his with his permission to prove my point that looks matter more on dating apps. I showed Kay the results, over 150 matches on Hinge, and and a ton of likes and roses, both on Hinge and on Tinder. She's now upset, calling me an asshole for showing her how shitty the world can be, saying she was just trying to help. I feel like I might be the asshole for raining on her parade and showing how shitty the single life can be for an overweight single guy. I also might be a bit of an asshole to those women who have messaged me thinking I might be a good-looking gay friend. So Reddit, am I the asshole? Oh no.
Oh, buddy.
I'm glad it was a male because it would have brought out some insecurities. Okay, after COVID, let's chat about it.
Yeah.
After having a baby, let's chat about it.
Yeah, so quick side story real quick for me. Camden and I started dating right before COVID. So I don't know about everyone else, but there is like that myth or that theory or whatever that you get like happy relationship weight, like when you get comfortable with someone. So not only did I get that, but I also got the COVID weight, and then it just like didn't stop. So like, guys, I used to be like this in 2019. I was working out. I was like working hard, like just like at jobs and stuff. And like the COVID weight is so for real. I literally was having like some PTSD in my head from that time.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's super honest. Like, it's something that people are scared or like insecure to talk about, that I can't get this person, instead of normally people blame everybody else.
Yeah.
Well, everybody's assholes. Everybody's this. Everybody's that. But then he's like, no, it's because of my weight, and I'm trying to actively work on it. Like, that was really raw for him to say.
Yeah. I wouldn't say he's the asshole to his friend Kay. I think she got a little bit over dramatic about it because he was just giving her receipts to be like, no, this is the world. I think he said he's the only single one, so she's got to be in a relationship or married or something. Like, she doesn't have to worry about that. And the older you get, I feel like the harder it gets. So I don't feel like he is the asshole to her. Now, to all the people that he's catfishing by doing this little science experiment, maybe a little bit.
Yeah. Because I know of a lot of relationships. Like, some of our best friends have met on a dating app. You and our good friend Jillian, calling her out.
Hey, Jillian.
and some other people, like, I feel like have actually successful marriages and relationships that have met on dating. So they're really serious, looking for somebody. And so for him to get on there and not be his true self, kind of shitty.
Yeah, just a little bit. I'm going to dive into like a little story about my experience on the dating apps. So I didn't date very many guys on the apps until I met, and then I met Camden like pretty soon into doing the dating apps. So I maybe only went on like one or two before him, but one of them was someone, he was very attractive. He had a very nice looking face. I liked his personality. And then we ended up agreeing and going out on a date. We met at a bar just to have a drink. And
there's a but. I know there's a but coming. Wait, guys.
He was great. He was great. He bought me a drink. But guys, he was significantly shorter than me. And that's just not my cup of tea.
Next.
It's not for me. I know some people can do it, and I don't want to come across as shallow, but like, it's just not for me. And like, even like if we were the same height, okay, maybe, but like he was already, and I probably wasn't wearing heels and he was shorter than me. So like imagine me wearing heels. Like, I'm 5'6", I'm average. This guy was, anyway. Then then to top it off, I stayed and had a drink, and then I am a little bit of the asshole. I made an excuse and said I needed to go home. I forgot what I said my reason was, but I said that I needed to go home. Maybe I said I was tired or whatever. I didn't go home. I went and hung out at my friend's house. And if this is a sign to anyone out there that has your location still on Snapchat, and you should take it off, because this guy looked at my location later that night and was like, I thought you lived in this city and I see that you're here. And I was like, the fact that we went on one date and you're checking my location, that's icky.
That's an ick, guys.
Awful. Honestly, giving like stalker vibes.
Thank you. Next.
Yeah, so thankfully I met Camden after, because I was getting about done with dating apps. I was like, not for me. People are weird and icky. But anyway, dating apps are hard. They're not easy. That I feel that guy's pain, because I went through it for a little bit, but it did work out for me in the end. So,
well, something I feel like when we all met up, like in person and with our other bestie, I feel like we talked about like the dating season and how just like, oh my God. It's just as awkward, and I'm glad we're out of it. You know, it just brings out a lot of insecurities, like how you feel like you look, or how you feel like you're, like they think of you. And it's like, if you're just going through that right now and you're listening to this, like, just hang in there. There is somebody that's going to love you for you, no matter your weight, no matter your your personality. They have to connect with you, obviously. They have to be attractive. But like, if they're going to love you for you, no matter what changes in life, like, we're going to get old. I'm probably going to have another child. I'm going to go through all that stuff again. Like, life happens, and you're naturally going to get older, and you're going to change. But if they love you for you, that's what matters. And so it's awkward right now, but it's going to get better. It's going to get better.
Yeah.
If it's meant to be, it will be. I always say that, and I believe it.
Stick with it. Do what's right for you. Also, don't be afraid to like go out into public and meet people too. Like, go to some events. True. Like, go.
I didn't do dating apps.
Technically, if you were to ask Camden, he would say that we met at the eye clinic where I worked. Because technically we did, because I worked at this eye clinic and he was coming there, and I don't fully remember it, but he remembers it. But we did re-meet like 4 or 5 months later on a dating app. And that's what I remember. So we would have different stories if you were to ask him. But
I love that. I actually really like that. Yeah. I have like a lot of things to actually say to this guy too. Like, he seems very insecure. I'm glad he's working on it, because I think like I'm all about growth. I'm all about like, if you don't like something, then put the work in to change it, which is easier said than done. You know, obviously, yeah. I empathize with that too. But I just think that he just feels really low. Like, it's because of the way I look only. And I think also, like, of course your partner has to be attracted to you, but I think somebody will, you know, like, I don't know. I just don't think, I just see all these different people that are all different sizes find their person. So I think someone's going to love him for who he is, you know? Yeah. I don't know.
I totally agree. I think I 100% agree with you. There's someone out there for this guy. Maybe he needs to go to a different town and use his dating apps. You know, like drive an hour. Like, what's an hour?
Yeah.
I don't know. I will say it do be rough out there on the apps though.
Or it's like creepy people, or
or you get the people that are just way too honest on their Tinder profile, and you're like, okay, I think you're on the wrong app. I feel like you need to go somewhere else for this. Like,
I feel like we need to do like a poll of like what dating apps are actually the most successful that people are most stuck with.
I can't remember. So my sister and her husband also met on a dating app. And I don't remember which one they used. We met on Tinder. I don't know if theirs was Bumble or Tinder. Bumble
I heard.
also has that a way that you can make friends too. We were talking about making friends, like finding people you can make friends
Oh,
with, and I did end up meeting and hanging out like for quite a few months with someone I met on the Bumble Friends, like
I feel like if
6.
I had something like Bumble on my phone, my husband
Oh
would be
no,
like,
100%. I don't have it now. No, yeah,
my
he'd be
husband
like,
would be like,
because it's one app and there's
what are you
different
trying to do?
sections for dating and for professional and for
I
friends.
think
So it's
Facebook has it too, like a
yeah.
match
No, I
type
don't need it
thing.
now. I'm good. I've got friends. I'm solid.
I know. I was like, if I ever was like, I'm gonna make friends and I'm gonna go on Bumble, he'd be like, mm-hmm. What are
Sure.
you
What
doing
kind of
on there?
friend? Friend with
Yeah,
benefits? No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, exactly. He'd be like questioning that, like, no, you're not doing that.
I I feel bad for the guy because he was just trying to show this girl Kay who's in a happy relationship
I
that it
know.
is tough, and who's to say like she probably met her significant other not on a dating app, so like maybe she's never been on them, and like she doesn't understand fully what it takes to be on them. Like you got to do a lot of sifting, you got to do a lot of talking and like getting to know someone to be like, okay, this isn't gonna work, or we can take it to the next step and go on a date. Like, and then when you are insecure, I'm insecure, I'm just as insecure as the next person, but like you tend to psych yourself out on stuff and be like, okay, wait, no, this is like too good to be true. And then you like cut things off.
What if you like have probably all this
It's
like
like the
negative
what
self-talk?
ifs. If this, then they won't want to, like, it's just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in
I hate that stage.
being insecure is
What do
tough.
they
Take it
think
from an
about me?
insecure girly right here. Like, it's tough. It's hard out here sometimes.
That's wild to me because I feel like you look like the most confident queen on TikTok. So spill the tea, Jess.
It's
Spill the
because I'm
tea.
showing this and up.
No, that's not true. You do not. Go look at her videos, guys, if you haven't. She's
I
like,
don't
don't
know.
tell them that.
I'm honestly I'm at the point though because I'm married now. Like I'm married. I've got him on lock.
I
I'm not
know.
trying to impress anyone else. So like that's like the
True.
stage of life that I'm at. Like I'm just here to have fun and like have a cool ass family and the cutest
Hmm.
baby boy in the whole entire world. Like
Yeah.
I'm not worried about what other people think about me. I mean, I am. Everyone is a little bit. If you're not, you're lying.
You have like
But
moments like yeah, I feel like you're gonna be I think something that's super good to be mindful is like you're gonna be your biggest critic. You're gonna be you're gonna be the most person to be the harsh on yourself. Like nobody's thinking that. Most of the time, the negative thoughts that go through your head, nobody's thinking that.
yeah.
You're just so hard on yourself and getting yourself down. And the biggest thing I always say, and we say in like therapy and that side of things, is like every negative thought you have, you need to replace with a positive about yourself because it tricks your brain. Even if you say it out loud, the positive thing, even if if you don't believe it and you say it out loud, that positive thing, it like almost tricks your brain into believing it. It's like a whole thing.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm
Yeah.
having therapy right now. You're like speaking to me right now.
So, if you catch yourself saying or thinking negative things, I just encourage you to think of every one negative thing you replace like you replace it with a positive.
Yeah,
Like you just need to incorporate that
I
because,
agree.
and that's what I do my own self because I have insecurities just like any girly out there, especially after being like going through birth and all the things, all the changes.
100%.
It's like I have to learn to love myself now.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Oh my gosh, we talked about that in an episode or two ago. You can't love
Oh
anyone
yeah,
else
I
until you
did.
love yourself. You can never
And
fully.
sometimes, yeah,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's daily. Like, okay, here I am.
Yeah. Most
Hmm.
of the time it's daily.
When you're going through all the clothes in your closet and you're like, I hate that on myself. I hate that. I hate that. I hate that.
Just did that
Okay.
yesterday to go to church. Had to change a couple times.
Yeah, those days are hard, like mentally on myself. So I know other moms and other women in general can relate to that. Maybe men, who knows?
Definitely men. The guy in the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel for him and I want to give him a big hug and tell him to delete the catfish profile.
Thank you. Next. That's a wait, Chad, right?
He's not a Chad though. He's a good guy. He's a good
Chad.
guy. He went the wrong way to try to prove something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
dang.
I hope he gives an update that he found the love of his life here soon.
I don't know if there's an update. Should I look? I don't think there is.
No, there's not, but I hope he does someday.
That was only 6 days ago, so I don't think the love of his life has met him yet.
We'll never know.
Maybe.
Well, you guys, I have a different story. It's kind
about weddings.
No, it's not about weddings. Not this one. I usually go the wedding route because they're just so dramatic. And I love it. But today I'm gonna read something that can really, I feel like, resonate with like anyone that's ever had a job. So the title of it, so anybody pretty much. The title of it is, I just got fired from my dream job while on vacation. How do I handle this?
Dang, that's a damper in the vacay.
I know, right? So, and this is crazy. When I first read it, I was like, my first question, which I'll preface the story by saying, like, why were you working at this job for what you were getting paid and doing? Anyway, so I'm on vacation after working for 7 days a week over the last 4 months. I desperately needed the break. Then out of nowhere, I get an email with the subject line, employment status. I open it and my stomach just drops. I've been terminated over email 1 week into my 2-week-long vacation. I immediately call my boss, hoping this is some mistake. Spoiler, it's not. She tells me this is some corporate way of getting the truth out of people. I wasn't hiding anything. She just didn't believe me or bother investigating further before sending a random termination email while I'm on vacation. Here's what started all of this. On Wednesday, October 9th, I covered a shift that wasn't mine. When I was leaving, I noticed I hadn't been clocked in. Normally, I'd text my coworker to fix it, but this time I used my company laptop to adjust it myself. The next day, my boss asked me how I made the edit. I told her the truth. I did it. She asked more questions, but I didn't think I did anything wrong. I worked those hours, so I edited the time. I assumed if she had a real issue, we'd have a conversation in person, not just text. Fast forward 10 days, I'm across the country enjoying vacation, and she changes all of the company passwords. That freaked me out even before I saw the termination email, and that's how I found out via email, fired. Panicking, I called her immediately. Thankfully, she answered. I was barely holding it together and basically begged, "What's going on? Why did you fire me?" She says that the way I edited the clock made her lose trust in me. Apparently, she thought I'd logged out of my account to log into someone else's. I explained that I'd used both my phone and my company laptop, which I had automatically logged me into my coworker's account, not my own, without me realizing it. Once I explained this, she seemed relieved. She even told me, "It makes sense. I still want you to work for me for years to come." I thought it was resolved. Then 30 minutes later, she calls me again. This time she says she's talked to her husband, the co-owner, and he still wants me gone. She says there's nothing she can do and tells me I'll do great in life and offers to write me a recommendation. Cool, right? Here's the kicker. I've been working for $15 an hour for the past 4 months, even though I was doing way more than my original front desk job. I took on the role of marketing, social media, and community outreach on top of front desk. No pay increase, no nothing. They'd promised we'd discuss my salary after I got back from vacation, so I believed them. But I guess they never planned to have that conversation. What makes it even harder is that I've never been punished at this job, only praised. It gave me a false sense of appreciation, which is probably why I kept working for such a low rate. This whole thing has sent me spiraling into self-doubt and confusion. I was so wrapped up in their lives, nannying their neighbors' kids, working at her friend's boutique, getting invited over for dinner, and they fired me over email, while I was on vacation. I just can't understand how people can treat someone like that. Girl, $15 an hour and you're working 7 days a week for 4 months straight.
Even that many jobs, like, those are big jobs.
She was doing a lot. We'll talk about it for a little bit, but this almost like is very close to a situation that happened to me. Like,
yeah, I
so
think
similar.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, this is so relatable to many people. I feel like these jobs have these like really big, intense, hard jobs. Like, you're gonna do this job, but then you're gonna do all these jobs. Like, when they should be different people for each job, and they should be paying different people for these jobs. But no, you're gonna have one person, but then you're gonna have limited pay.
Yeah.
On top of it, and it's like, no, like that's not
fair.
That's not fair. That's not doable. Like, no, that shouldn't be a thing.
For how much things cost, like, I don't know where they live, but like for me, where we live, if I were doing all of that stuff, working 7 days a week, probably, I would assume probably no overtime, which honestly, is that even legal? Anyway, that's a whole nother story. Like, I don't even know how many hours you're allowed to work at a company if your hourly rate is that low. Anyway, besides the point, I lost my train of thought.
I think it's like 40 hours.
7 days. Yeah, who knows how many hours. I think
it's like if you're over 40 hours, you have to get time and a half, right? I think that's what it is.
Yeah, at some places, but not everywhere.
So, who knows if that was even occurring? And the vacation, the question I have is he getting paid time off, or is this like they just allowed him to go? You know, people do that where they just unpaid, you get time off. Yeah. Or are they actually paying her? I said him, but I think it's a her.
I think so too.
Paying her the 2 weeks of vacation. And are they going to finish that out since they fired her
over email?
Over email, which isn't like crazy. I guess they should have since how long did she work? You said only 4 months though, right?
Yeah, she said, well, it just says that she had been working 7 days a week over the last 4 months. So okay, I don't know if she had been there before and just like the last 4 months it's been every day, or if that's how long she's been working there. Either way, I feel like she also had mentioned that she had never been disciplined at this job before. So this email was the first she ever got anything negative, and it was straight up being fired.
You can get, what's it called? Workman's comp?
Mm-hmm. Workers' comp.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
So
I'm going to file for that because there was no discipline. There was no, like, you just fired me for whatever reason you decided. I would file for that, and then you're going to pay me anyway.
So let me tell you, because when you're saying this, this almost exactly this situation happened to me last year. So I got pregnant last year, and I was working at this company. I won't name names, but if you know me and you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. I worked for for this company, and I had been there total doing like different things. Like, I moved around the company, I think for 2.5 years. Like, it was it was more like 1.5 to 2 years. Anyway, I had been there for a while. I was very, known at the place because I'd been there for quite some time. I ended up getting the opportunity from sales. I hated sales. I'm not a salesperson. From moving to sales to moving to the department that like I had passion about, because I love that whole idea of marketing. So I moved to the marketing department. An opening came up, and I was able to slide my way in there and do what I really enjoyed doing. Like, to me, it was my dream job. Like she said right here. So I was doing marketing, social media, like learning all this stuff, and like for like a bunch of different clients. And I had gotten so much praise for everything that I was doing. for the time that I was there. In March of 2023, I had announced my pregnancy. I had announced on Facebook. I made it Facebook official. I let people at work know. And then it was maybe a week or two later, and I got pulled into my boss's office and got fired.
You could have got them in trouble.
I could have, but I did not have proof that it was because of that. They
have reasons. What was the reason?
The woman who is my boss, we were actually friends, and I think that's dangerous. I would definitely be a little bit more cautious about that now. But we were friends. Like, we hung out outside of work. Like, we grabbed drinks, we had dinner and all that stuff. Like, we were friends. And
oh my gosh,
she had been in this. I don't know. She, I don't want to spill her tea, which no one is going to know who she is. But she had been openly struggling with conceiving a child. And
the plot thickens, guys.
And a week or two, within the same month of me announcing that I was pregnant, she brings me into her office and was basically saying that my work wasn't good. Never been told that once. Not a single time did I ever get a disciplinary conversation about anything. Me getting fired was the first time my work was ever criticized. And
you need to do like an improvement. You need to write. She needs to write you up and do like an improvement plan. Like, there's like a whole thing.
Well, the thing is I got pissed. I got pissed, and if you know me, you know that I'm an emotional person, and so whenever I'm at a heightened emotion, whether it be joy, anger, sadness, whatever, my initial thing is I start crying, and I know that's gonna make me sound like a little biatch.
No, that is so normal for a lot of people.
I also don't like. I know, not you. You don't cry, but I'm not good with confrontations. So like already, I'm uncomfortable. I'm like completely out of my comfort zone, and she's telling me all this stuff. And the big boss, the president of the company was in there as well, and I was like, this is the first time I'm hearing of this while I'm literally blubbering, and it's so embarrassing. Yeah. I was like, this is the first time I've ever heard of this. And they just kept like going around in circles. I don't fully remember everything, but like their decision had been made. Like, I was not going back to work that day. I was going home. Like, that's how it was. But anytime I tried to say something like, okay, but like this is the first time I'm hearing that I've done anything wrong and you're firing me over it. Anyway, it was a big hot mess. I ended up having to do workers' comp, but the way workers' comp works is they submit it to the company, and if the company fights back on it, then you don't get it, which I guess they either were like, okay, well, we can't actually prove that she did anything wrong, or they just didn't look at the thing from workers' comp. So I ended up getting money from workers' comp, which was great. But it was such poor timing because I was 3 months pregnant. I was relying on this income.
Oh my gosh.
I had just told them that I was pregnant, and they fired me. And
like insurance, all that stuff.
Yeah, I lost my insurance. And like thankfully my husband has a good job and he has insurance, and like a big life change can warrant like adding someone to insurance. But like I was like, I have doctors. Like, I think I literally had an ultrasound that next Monday scheduled, and they fired me on a Friday because that's how they do it. They fire you. They let you work all week so they can get what they need from you, and then they fire you at the end of the day on Friday.
That's bad. Oh my gosh.
And I was like, now I don't have insurance.
I bet so many people have went through that.
Yeah. So
has dealt with companies or all the things.
I wanted to see what I could do about like getting a lawyer and stuff, but like I lost my job, so like I didn't have money.
I know they pry on that because they know you can't do anything because you can't afford a lawyer. You can't afford to do all these things. And it's
While
like,
I'm literally creating life and having to go to doctor's appointments
yeah,
and saving my money to have a child. Like, so it made things rough for us for quite some time. And I've never really like openly talked about that story on the internet, but
no, I mean, that is so relatable, I think, for just like this day and age and just people in general. Like, especially women that are pregnant. I've seen so many stories of like they had to switch jobs and then they're not covered by FMLA. So they don't get that time off. So they're not guaranteed to keep their job while they're healing, like having the baby and healing. Like that is, you know, when you're in a new job, you don't get that. You have to have work for the job. It can't be
like
a
a certain amount of
pre-existing.
days until you
Can't be
get
a pre.
benefits. Yeah.
Yeah, it can't be a pre-existing pregnancy or whatever it is. And then you have to, yeah, you don't get the time off because you don't have enough PTO for 8 weeks or whatever it is.
Yeah. I don't.
So they can just give your job away. They don't have to
What
keep it.
the crazy thing is I was talking to my boss, like, because she had known for maybe a week or two before she fired me that I was pregnant. And I could tell, like, when I went to go tell her, I could tell she was not happy. She was not excited for me.
That's ick, man.
Because if I came up to you right now and told you that I was pregnant right now, I feel like your face would light up and you would
Yeah.
get excited. Like, she
My
remained
best friend.
stoic the whole time and, like, didn't react. She was just like, because I had been, you know, whenever you're pregnant, you get hormonal and sometimes your emotions get the best of you. And I think she could tell that I was like on edge for a little bit before I actually told her. And I was like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you sooner. I was just waiting for the right moment. And then when I told her, she was just like not excited because she thought that I was acting weird the last few weeks or whatever. Anyway, but her and I had talked about like a plan for my career there. Like, I would be off for a little bit, obviously,
Oh my
giving
God.
birth to a
This gets
child.
worse.
Yeah, we talked about like I'd be off for a little bit, and then we had even discussed me just moving down to part-time and like working remotely because everything that I did for that job could be done from the comfort of my own home. And like her and I had these conversations talking about a
It's
future
worse.
plan, and then she fired me.
That's gross. That's gross behavior.
Yeah. So, guys, if you're out there and you're struggling with something like this, just message me. Let's talk crap about it together cuz I can relate.
I can say like people don't leave jobs for the job. People leave jobs for the bosses, like for the management. And so if you have a lot of people that are leaving your company or leaving whatever, it's because of you. If you're a boss and you have a lot of turnover, they're leaving because of you. So
Yeah.
take some leadership classes, do some work because any job I've wanted to leave, it's not, and I'm in social work. Social work is a hard job. I didn't leave because of the job. I left because the management was not good.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. My old bosses are going to be like, thanks.
I feel bad for this girl, like just getting it like thrown in her face while she's not even there that they don't want her there anymore. Like she got fired and like this is the first disciplinary conversation. I know it's like normal to get, it's like being broken up with in a text. Like getting fired through an email, not knowing that you even did anything wrong to begin with. It's just
Yeah.
so messed up. Like I feel like something like that warrants having a sit down conversation to be like, hey, okay, well, what did I do? Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I was thinking also like with your story, I know we just did like two in one, like your personal story and then this actual Reddit story. Your personal story, I wonder like if she did have a problem, if like a perspective is like what if she felt awkward because you guys were friends, or if it really was tied to the jealousy of not being able to conceive. Which I know a lot of women that can't conceive a child that have been dying and wanting that hearing, it is probably hard to be excited for people
And that's
around
why it
you.
took me so long to tell her because I was trying to be sensitive towards her feelings, but me not telling her because I was very fatigued the first trimester. Like, I was very fatigued. I was very emotional. And, like, I know that people could tell, and I wasn't telling them what was actually going on with me. And I know that probably wasn't the best way for me to go about it. But I was also just trying to keep her, I was trying to be sensitive towards what's going on with her. And there's no way of telling that me being upfront with her from the beginning or waiting until when I told her, like, that would have happened. Like, it was just like I had to choose one or the other, and I decided one, and it was bad outcome for me.
Yeah, I think a huge thing too, like I would want to ask people that are listening or watching this is like, if you've went through like not being able to conceive a child, and like how would you want, like I want to know from other people's perspectives, like how would you want someone telling you that they're pregnant? Like, what's the best way? If there's even a best way, like that's respectful, that you're not going to be offended. Because it is hard. Like, we want to be kind and thoughtful and considerate of that, because it is very challenging for that person that's going through, like, just wants a baby, just wants to be a mom, and that's struggling with that. And then you find out someone around you want to be excited for them, but also you're like, can that just be me? How is the best way to go about like telling that, like with being considerate in the same way? Is there a certain way, or if it's just like all around just sucking,
shitty situation. Dang, I don't know, but I like when I read that story, I was like, it's almost like I wrote this, because it's like everything was almost the same, minus the fact that I was pregnant, and mine and hers was she was just on vacation. But like down to the fact that they had like been talking about giving her a raise after vacation, and like for me, like talking about like coming back to work after having a baby, like it was like very, very similar. So I was like, whenever I read it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is bringing back like some anger in me, I feel like.
Too close for home. I feel like a lot of people can relate to that story too. Well, just like the multiple jobs thing, I feel like there are, like I said earlier, like there are a lot of companies that demand a lot and have a lot of expectations of you doing this and this, and you almost have to advocate for yourself. You have to advocate and say, whoa, what is my job description? What am I actually getting paid for? Because if your expectation is for me to do X, Y, and Z also, then I need that pay.
Yeah.
Like, advocate for yourself. It's not bad to do that. And obviously be respectful, but take care of you and what you deserve. Don't sell yourself short.
And girl, you were doing a lot for $15 an hour. Now you have some experience under your belt. I know it may not be long term, but someone will take you.
Put that on the resume.
Put it on there. Some people don't like spotty work history, but if you've got that experience, like, you'll find somewhere. I mean, heck, I was so grateful. Like, I got fired and then I was able to get unemployment, and then I was able to find a job back at a place that I worked at years ago. They let me come back. I was like, I don't need you to train me. I just need to come work for like 3 or 4 months to make some money. And then I'll train my replacement. And like, they were like, okay, we're down for that because we don't have to train. And I was like, okay, sick. So thankfully, like, things ended up full circle working out for me. And I'm hoping the best for this girl and anyone out there that's going through something similar. Like, if you're in a crappy situation when it comes to work, there's something better out there for you. Just don't give up. Keep looking. Stay consistent.
You got this.
Build that resume, baby.
Yeah. What is meant to be will be. That's like our title of this episode.
We should start titling him instead of just making it Mama's Tea Time Season 2 or whatever.
Because I really believe that, like, things will work out the way it's supposed to.
100%. If
job, relationships, whatever it is, what's meant to be will be.
Yep, 100%. I feel like we are just some ADD mamas going all over the place tonight, but I feel like we spilled a lot of tea.
We got it.
I mean,
we made it.
I mean, y'all, if y'all have listened this far, you must have enjoyed it.
Yeah, you're tracking. You're tracking with us.
Yeah, we're a little we're a little squirrely sometimes, but
Keeps
I
it
feel like that's what
interesting.
makes us us. Oh my gosh, so cute.
Still cute.
Well, you guys, we spilled some tea.
Yeah.
We had some fun. And we want to just remind you again, if you've got some tea you want to share with us to read on the podcast, we do have a Reddit, like a subreddit. It's in our bio wherever you're listening. We also would love for you to comment and like and share and all the things. Get the word out there that us ADD mamas are out here spilling all the tea every week.
We're doing it. We're doing it and doing it well.
Doing it well.
All right, we're just some mamas.
Spilling tea, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.